Hi guys, it's Mr. StatChief here, and I just wanted to do a video to go through some of the work I've been doing on the site, and I just wanted to give a team update to see how we're going for the season. So we haven't started too well. I think we started off about 20 to 30,000 rank just because of the injury carnage, and we've been slowly chipping away. So we can just check through the history. Yeah, so we started all right. Had a bit of a bad patch through the buys just because we are probably down a primo or two for a couple of the buys. Um, yeah, it was just unfortunate. I didn't want to trade into anyone during this session, just because I'm going to be missing them straight away, and these early guys, like I wanted some of the players, Houston and Neil, but they were already on their buy. So when Gordon and Young went down, I was really stuck with what to do. And then Petrarca going down, I think it was around here as well. It really made me struggle through this section here. I think a lot of people had the same struggles. So we've been able to bounce back. We hit a 7K rank, which is not too bad. Slowly growing. Just feel like we haven't had a major ceiling score yet. Just every week we just start off strong, and Sunday seems to be a dagger, or we start off pretty poorly on the weekdays, and then we hit Saturday, Sunday, and it just sort of skyrockets. So just checking the team this week. Let's go through our trades. So Nas getting injured, so managed last week, which was really good. So we now have to trade him out. He's out for 3 weeks, so it's basically 4-week injury. I would have traded him out last week if I'd known that. We was always going to bring in Ash, so the plan was Carroll and another probably Todd or someone like Lombard out for Ash just because of the bye. And this would have probably been Loop or that new Port rookie that's going to get named. But I decided to go with Lockie Smith because English is going to be out for 2 weeks at least. So who knows what happens. Maybe you can get a spike score. I'm not really expecting a lot. I can just push White to the forward bench spot and just see if he can pull something out. That'll be really good. I'll check his run coming up, but it's not a major concern for me. As long as I can make some money off of him, that'll be really good. I got Dirksen last week. I didn't really want to do that, but I was worried if I got Edwards from Sydney, if I wouldn't have enough money to make the trades this week. So I was fortunate with that, so I ended up having 2K left. So yeah, it was the right play. I was able to get Cherry in. I probably would have got Grundy if I couldn't. But now I'm hoping that he gets played. He did well in the VFL, so who knows, he might get a game. I'm not too strapped for cash. I've got 3 pretty good midfield rookies here. Hopefully Lockie can make 80k. I'll be pretty happy with that. Lombard's probably still a slow burn. He probably got another 20-30k left in him before I probably trade him. He probably goes at his buy, honestly. Just going through the team itself. Last week, Sinclair, pretty casual, so he's been doing pretty good. He only had a few bad weeks. He's down to his low price, so didn't really have to start him. Most seasons you don't have to start him. He will drop to 550 or below. It just tends to be like that. But there wasn't many options at the start of the season, so he was a pretty important starting pick. Ash role change, yeah, not ideal, but he does have a run coming up. Just have a look. If you guys haven't used it already, this is StatChief.com. Highly recommend it. So just looking at his DVP coming up. So this is for designated kicks. He's not really a kicker anymore, but West Coast obviously going to be a great matchup. Melbourne, there's a lot of blue positive matchups coming up. A couple of bad negative matchups, but overall pretty solid. So the idea and the hope is, if this midfield time doesn't really work out, he can still go back into the back line, and he has a lot of positive matchups compared to his lower ones, so still could be a good defending pick. Midfield wise, again, like that's a pretty solid post-buy run. He's just come off a pretty solid run already, so let's have a look how he went for his last 2 games. It's a ton, 97, 30 touches, 20 effective, so he was pretty solid stat line. Seems to be playing all over the park. It's pretty solid. So, look, is he ideal? Probably not, but he's a defender and he is playing mid minute. So it's a fine role. It's a good team. He's got a good buy, so I'm happy with that. Clarko, yeah, not too great, has he? Got him at 570-ish. Thought he'd be a solid pick when Rosie went down. And he's just gone, like, you give me a 50 on debut, then you went 140 and just got a couple of 70. So, like, not perfect. I really wanted him just to be a 100 average guy. He probably will jump back up. Like, he's a good player. It's just his roles, like, I don't know what's happening with Luke Ryan in the team. He's not been too good. He still gets a kick-ins, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I see 1, 2, and Ryan's just taking so many kick-ins. It's really hurting his scoring. So if we look, we can look at his compare. Oh, sorry, do without. And we'll do, say, from 25. Oh, so they had 1 game without him. So we got 24. Still 1 game. So he just keeps playing games with him. So the 1 game without him was this year. He won a 75. So that, again, Geelong was a bad matchup anyway. So yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those picks, I guess. Decent ownership, so it's not too bad. Houston, I jumped on the hype train early on. Wasn't ideal again, but he passed the eye test. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's a really good player. He did do the same things at Port with his spike scores and his low scores. We saw the 130 not long ago, and he did really well. He played one of the best players for Pies that day. So Pies do need to use him. Like, he's pretty important, I think, to their team. They just can't get out of the backline properly, and so his kicks are always turned over, which is quite frustrating. He does have a good run coming up here, but post-buy is pretty bad. Just hoping for like a 90s from here, and maybe a 105 from here, I'm hoping. So yeah, I mean, he's D6, so it's not going to be too important. Lindsay I'm keeping because Nas is going to be out, so I need a defender. Coleman, he's not been scoring that far off of Zorko, so Zorko has a good game, Coleman tends to have a good game. He doesn't have any kick-ins, but I think is a fine pick to keep for now. I'll probably look at trading him on his buy, or if I want to get a primo in. I think he can still just score around 80s-ish. Butters, Bont, yeah, these guys perfectly fine, whatever. I think he got clamped, so it's not too bad. Oliver, like, he gets a lot of touches and then just doesn't get too many points for it. Let's have a look. So he's averaging 30 touches. Like, that's pretty decent. Tackles, 4 tackles, that's okay. But if we just have a look, like, he's ton most of the season, so I think he's been a successful pick. I just think Essendon, I think they're a bit more tougher for contested matchups. Oh no, it was positive. So, I don't know, maybe it's just a down game that did have a short break, so I'm hoping that he can come up for a big game against West Coast. Don't really give up a lot to contested mids, but who knows, he could do what he did against the Hawks and just go off, have a good game. So he's a fine pick, I think. I might just keep him for the season. Goodbye. Walsh, really hoping the new coach can pick him up. It's just been, he shows glimpses, he just doesn't do a lot. for long periods, and it's quite frustrating. And his kicks are okay, I guess. The second half of Brisbane, he did really well, I think. So if he can keep doing that, I think he'll be able to turn this around to a 105, but we'll see. Finn, yeah, back-to-back tag games, low score, so he dropped pretty low. He should turn this around. I'm expecting a 130 from West Coast, but we'll see. Clugs will probably get clamped this week. Is what it is. I mean, I paid like $450 or something for him, so he's $470. So it's not a big deal. If he gets clamped, he should turn it around for the rest of the season. Brayshaw, terrible pick. So at the time when I got him, I could have got Heaney for $588K. So it was like $15K extra. I had the cash. I could have done it. And now Heaney's M1, I think, and Brayshaw's dropped to like $450K. So that's just been an absolute terrible pick. The guy did like 110 for like the last 4 seasons, and I just didn't really read this role change coming. Like, look at this. Like, from 2020, he's averaged a ton, and for the last few seasons, he's done 115, like 110. So I didn't think he'll be blocking this much for Sarong. I don't think Sarong really deserves to get this much favorable midfield like touches and so on. Like, I think Brayshaw's still the guy. He should be getting a bit more. I don't think they should be giving it to Sarong to be the distributor and kicker. I think Young also, I got him too. Young's a pretty good kick. He should be getting a bit more, but it seems to be working. I mean, they're pretty solid, so I don't think they're going to change. We just got to hope that Sarong gets a bit more tags or something so he can turn this around. I really want to get Murdoch onto the field at my forward F6, but I'm waiting for DPP, so that's pretty frustrating. He's got like 90 and an 80 or something, and I just had him on the bench. Can't do anything about it. Got Cherry in this week. I just want to get him in. His run's ridiculous. If you have a look. So just looking through here, like McAndrew, rookie ruck, he probably should dominate him. This was Wits, but now that it's Moyle or whoever they pick, might be Wits again. I think he'll dominate them as well. Jackson sort of gives it up. West Coast going to be like a 200 game again, I suspect. Richmond without Nank again, so that's another great game. Essendon seem to not give up too many points. I think that one day needs to be adjusted. But Nick Bryan's back. Let's see how he goes. I don't know if they're going to be doing dual rucks or something like that, but it should be fine. And then Sweet, he's all right. So this run here is a little bit tougher, but like dual ruck, Gorn, Decam, English, whoever they have, Edwards or whatever, and then Grundy. So like that's not too perfect here, but you know, it is Cherry. He is like trying to be R1 in the league, so I'm expecting him to do a pretty good job. 680 is a bit high to pay, but at this time in the season, I need to start making ranks. I need to be aggressive, and I don't really know who else to get. I don't really want to pay up for Heaney and so on, and I need to get McAndrew away, so he's sort of the only choice I got. I suspect the next 5 rounds, I'm hoping for a lot of good scores in this section. Jackson, awesome, 140, like that's so solid. I didn't really expect him to be this solid. Honestly, I thought his rucking was okay, and his midfield was okay, but he's just turned out to be awesome in both for some reason this season. Like I didn't doubt it. He's the unicorn, but I just didn't expect him to go like top 2, top 3 ruck. He's probably top 2 ruck at the moment. Grundy probably borderline as well in top 2. So yeah, really solid, really happy with him. I got him when English went down, so not too upset. I think I only had to pay 10k. Everyone's got him. Track, most people got him. Rankin, I got him at 440-ish, so pretty solid. I think he got a 70 and dropped again, but I think I got a 90, 80, 70. So he's been pretty good. Insane game last week. 30-something touches. I don't think he had many goals. Oh, he had 1 goal. So it looks like Rankin has taken a lot of midfield minutes, which he was doing last season. So we just jump over. Actually, no. It was on and off. So had a good stint at the start. Sort of dropped off and then picked up a little bit. And then obviously he got taken out for these few games. Oh, well, they got taken out here, but I think he was suspended or something. So, yeah, not ideal in terms of the CBAs last year. But looking at that when I made the choice and looking at what he's got this year, I was thinking that since he was doing like 100 or 90 something with this many CBAs, like less than 40% CBA. So I think it was like 20% average CBAs. He was still doing 90s. So I thought it was a low risk pick. He could still go 90s. I didn't really expect a 150, so it's pretty awesome. I think he'll go 95 to 100, maybe like 98 average-ish from here. But who knows, like, if he can do what he did last week again. What's his run looking like? Yeah, they got a pretty solid run. What is this for? Small forward. Or was it mids? Yeah, look at all the blue runs. So, yeah, that's pretty solid. Probably not great post-buy during the buys. It's a bit annoying. But, like, after the buys are done, the home stretch, like Essendon, Richmond, Suns, West Coast, Port, that's pretty solid. And for the price that he's at, like, you can't really go wrong. Is probably a must-have if he can keep doing 70% CBAs, and I think he will. Flanders seems to go better without Nas for some reason. Let's see what happened there. Who took Nas's mid-minutes? So he got a slight uptick to 50%, so that's pretty solid. Well, hopefully for the next 3 weeks he'll go up a bit more. Windhager seems to have taken Nas's minutes. Jack McRae, okay, yeah, so he's come back in. He took him out, so they've sort of split it now with these three to take whatever Nas was doing. So, yeah, let's hope Jack McRae can get the ball out to Flanders instead of Nas, and he can sort of take advantage of this run coming up without Nas in the team. Cook, awesome. I didn't expect him to be this good. Just keep going on. I'll probably be the last rookie to trade out with Lindsay. Philippou, absolute scam of $1 million contract. I don't understand how this guy, like, every good score he's had, I've had him on the bench. So, like, I'm hoping he can do something against Richmond. But he's probably the next to go. I'm going to get Cozzy in next week. I was going to boost Cozzy in, but I'll have to figure out something. I'll use the planner and see what I can do. Young, yeah, he's been alright. 80s, and then he had a spike. I think he scored like 2-3 goals against Dogs, and he was really good that game. So Dogs, yeah, he had 3 goals. So I would have wanted more. I think they lost, so that sort of was bad scaling, but yeah, he's a fine pick. I got him for like 380k, so I'm not too fussed. He's gonna sit flex all season. Just quickly looking at captain options for next week. Cherry, so I've VC'd Cherry into Bont. I think Bont's form's just too good. English is out, so gonna have to think about that actually. Without Bont, do we go Butters? Because Gold Coast tend to give up a lot to mids. Or do we go Jackson against Brian? He's probably going to do pretty solid again. Even though the DVP's pretty negative, I think he's still going to have a good game. They're playing at Marvel. Let's have a look. MCG, so not been too solid against MCG. Collingwood 118. So this 48 against Essendon. What happened in that game? Let's have a look. was he just... Oh, we'll go check here. Was he actually rucking properly, or... No, doesn't want to load. Tog. Oh yeah, so no CBA. So he wasn't proper ruck. So, you know, you expect him to do a lot better this game. She's... Don't think he's going to get any tags, so he should do okay. We'll see how he goes. Oh, yeah, I think I'll go Cherry. Hopefully he just does well. I don't have to worry about the C. And then going on to the buy guide. So this is a document I've put up just today. Was part of the reason I wanted to make this video. I just want to go through some of the stats I've been looking at and share with you. If you guys want access to the guides, you can find it here. It is just $1 a month if you want to pay, just to support, because I did spend like a couple of days making this. Otherwise, you can just watch the video and get the same points. If you want to play with it yourself, yeah, it's just $1 a day, and you can cancel anytime. Oh, $1 a month, I mean. Okay, so you can look through the relevant players on their buys. I've sort of just done it with whoever's primo priced and above 85 average, so you get an idea. Like Jack Ross, it's just been a pretty good scorer, not really owned, so he's still there. So here we have the ownership. So this is essentially telling us which buy rounds are going to be the most impacted for us. Obviously, round 13, 2 teams. There's only 7 players on the buy. So these 7 here. And of those 7, on average, overall, only like half of them are... So, one half of a player. And most teams in the top 10, 5, and 1% have at least 1 or 1.5 players. So that means between 3 people, 2 of them might have 2 players. 2 or 1 player. So, you know, this sort of just tells you which one's going to be most affected. So not a lot of people are going to be affected here, because not many players on the buy, and people don't even own many of these players anyway. Round 16 is sort of a issue. So you got 16 players on the buy, and not as bad as the previous 2 rounds, but they have a lot of ownership. On average, 5 players are owned by top 10%, up to top 1%. So 5 players in the team. So round 16, who's that? Geelong, Melbourne, Saints, and Dogs. So 1, 2, 3, 4. What were the other ones? I don't have any Melbourne players. I don't have any Geelong players. So I got 4. Other players might have, like, you know, Baz, Holmes, Richards. I had Nass, so that would have made me 1 more. So round 16 is actually going to be one of the worst buys for teams. So if you can plan to have a good round this week, you'll actually have a pretty good rank up. Round 13, you probably want to have your worst, because you will be less affected. So essentially, if you have a lot of players off this week, a lot of people might score well, sure, but you're not going to be too impacted because there's not that many players on the buy. So if you can have, you know, 2 players down on this than other people, it's not too impactful to your rank. If you can have, you know, 2 or 3 players down during this time when other people have 5, you're going to actually make a decent jump up in this stage. Again, here, round 15 is pretty... There's a lot of players to pick from, but not many people have picked those players. Only average 2, 2.5. So that's probably the second best buy. And you actually have a nice pool of players. So if you are trading in... so if you look at forwards, obviously the round 12 is the worst. You got 5. Round 14 has 5, but there's not many picked because there's probably, you know, lower owned forwards. Same. So this... 2 out of the 5 forward picks are in people's teams. So this is obviously going to be very bad for people's forward lines, forward structure. Rucks, there's not anyone from round 13 of note. So I think you got Gawn and Grundy. Yeah, no, Gawn and English here, and Rowan if anyone has Rowan. So that's probably why I got 2 to 3. English might be back. He'll probably be back by then, so he will be relevant. And you got 2 in the first buy. So yeah, rucks doesn't really matter. There's not many to pick from. So round 15 has the most midfielders, but round 16 and 14 have the most selected between them. So again, if you want to get mids, you'd probably be looking at round 15, round 13, and probably round 12, but that's also going to affect your forward. So you really got to play around and see how you can pick the players that aren't actually picked by other people to get an advantage during the buys. So defenders, again, the later half is when we're going to be most impacted here. 14 and 16 again. So these are the 2 worst. 13, 15 is the 2 best, and 12 is just pretty average. So yeah, you can play with this, have a look at the stats. So these updates every week based on whatever ownership changes. So you can come back next week and have a look if there's been any changes. It's pretty useful to try and figure out a strategy on what you want to try and have your team look like to try and jump up. Here, we just have a few notes on who you can sort of bring in based on what your team looks like. So it has ownership numbers. Archie's relatively low owned, only 50% of teams, so he's a luxury pick because of his price. If you want to get him, he has around 15 buys, so from defenders, around 15 is pretty good. That's a pretty good pick. Sink and Wit, defensive buys because they're pretty highly owned. So Sinclair's 80% and Wit's above 50%. So or above 20%. So this is right on the edge, actually. Probably because a lot of people got him when he was cheaper. So typically 20% above, especially in the top coaches. He could be very detrimental if you don't have him. So it's a bit of a defensive buy. You got a few pod buys as well. And if you go down, you got just cover and friendly. So if you guys are struggling for, say, the round 15 buy, you can just try and find a friendly player from that round. Same with mids. Lakini luxury, Baz luxury, because they're not really highly owned, but they're really good scoring. Same with Merit. And then forwards, you really got 2 top dogs. Nas is highly owned, so he probably should be a defensive buy. I'll probably update that. But yeah, you can have a look, play through here and see what your targets are and how you can sort of fit them in, and if you should change your targets or anything. And then we've done some number crunching and had a look what the best team would look like. So this isn't the meta or anything like that. This is just that if you wanted to get the best possible score during the buys without really doing any trades, luxury trades or whatever, this is what the team would probably look like. So you'd have a good mix of each buy. I think the worst one is round 12, and obviously the next one's 2 because there's not many missing in this round. And the average is 2,069. Nice. So yeah, the target should be about 2,000 around. You should be trying to target 4 to 5 players missing for that round. I think it used to be 4, but with flex you probably can go up to about 4.5 now. So the strategy here was to sort of detriment your 12 because you got, that's the start of your week. There's a lot of forwards that are impacted. There's a lot of good players that are impacted, like Butters, Cherry, Petrarca. Sort of take that hit early on and then try to pick up more points towards the back end of the buy rounds. So you can have a look through here. You can also just swap. So I'm not a big fan of Wayne Miller. He's a good player. I had him. He was a trap for me and then turned out good. But, you already got Parker there. So there's not really, Noble, or there's probably Brody missing because he has low ownership or something. But yeah, there's also Worrell. So you can sort of play around and see. I think it's just pick the highest averaging players for the team. So yeah, you can see here. yeah, that's probably the ideal structure, and you can chop and change however you like it. And then, okay, so if you haven't checked it out already, we have the buy planner. You just sort of put your team in by picking your players here. Make sure you put in your trades and so on up here. Hit continue, and it will show you your coverage each round and give you a letter grade. So if you check here, 19 plus is A plus, and then 18 is an A. So you sort of want to try and hit A pluses if you can, but you know, B's and C's is okay. I'd say B is probably the lowest you want to go, 16. If you really have to do C, that's fine. You just want to make sure you got A pluses in other spots. And yeah, it just shows you who's on your buy. It shows you what suggested trades you could have and how it, like, it'll tell you what's gonna happen. So this player is gonna have a buy coming up, but because we got strong coverage in round 14, we got 27 here, so it says it's a good trade in. So you can use this to figure out how to better structure your buys, and you can also come down here and make those trades. So if I want to get Jordan Clark in, it will show you here how those trades look, and you can just copy that over. You can also share online if you want, or copy the photo and save it if you want to go through it later on. Yeah, you can just jump through each of the buys here. So if you just click on these, it shows you each buy, and yeah, it's really nice. Just try and get a good grade in each, and you should be able to come out pretty solid. Just last thing, you can also project the scores. So if I was to say he gets a 64, it would change, and then when I make my future trades, it will restrict me based on how much money I have to use here. Yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. I might do another video next week. We'll see how this one goes, and all the best.